Okay, so once you have your supplies together, you've got your 4-foot fiberglass rod. You cut a few sections of your tubing off, roughly 3 to 4 inches, depending. You'll have to play with that a little bit to see which what you prefer. Slide those on the ends. Like I said, 5/16 tubing works better than 1/4 inch because obviously you're using a 1/4 inch thick rod. So 5/16 will slide on a little bit better, probably a little bit further. But I had 1/4 inch already, so that's what we're gonna go with today. But it's plenty tight, that's not coming off. So you get your pieces put on the ends, both roll in the same way. You get your rope together, and you just need to feed the rope through the middle of your rope. Once you get it started, it goes by pretty quick. You just got to kind of expand, pinch, expand, pinch, expand, pinch, and drag it all along the edge, the whole length. Of your fiberglass rod. It's a 1/4 inch hollow nylon rope is what you need. Just keep feeding it down. You just got to take this all the way to the end and leave yourself about 8 or 9 inches of rope on the end to form your handle. This isn't some design that I created or whatever. These were how we were making Snappy Snares at Indianapolis Metro when I hired there. Once, after I got promoted and basically quartermaster, sergeant, I was making a lot of these. They're not necessarily anything. I think these are way stronger, way better built than like the small black ones you can buy from Aces. They seem to hold up a lot better. The rods don't just crack. The 1/4 inch flag rods for like snow plowing is what these things are. They're legitimately extremely tough. So you want to leave yourself just enough to build a handle back here, and that's about enough. And you take however much tape you need, and you tape the end, kind of start at an angle so that you can end this at a point. The tighter the better, so it reduces the overall diameter of the end of the rope. Stretch this out good. And you just need to get this so that you can get this fed into the rope here. So you need to give yourself, you need to back up some of your rope down here to create a void so that you can get this threaded in. You want to go with the curvature of your tubing. Find a little hole, get that threaded up in, started up in there. And then again, you're just going to need to leave yourself, get yourself plenty back in here so you can feed this point up in. Once you get it, it'll slide. As long as you've got enough expansion here, it'll slide right up in there. And you can pretty much slide it in there as far as you want to go with it to give you your handle back here. And then once you've got the loop that you want, stretch that out good and tight a couple times. And then I always anchor it. Some electrical tape, pull it extremely tight. That'll help reinforce the handle staying in place. Right where you want it. So now you've got your handle built. Now you're coming down to the business end of the Snappy. Get your ring. This is a 2-inch, 1.5 inch ring. I've used 2 inches. I like the bigger rings so that they tend to get tangled up less in neck fur, and it also gives plenty of room to get an asp or your baton or whatever you're using in there to work this thing loose if it gets cinched up too tight. So I like to use a bigger ring. To determine how big a loop you want, whether you want this thing to actually bend like an actual Snappy Snare. I don't tend to use it that way. I run my ring, I run it like this, and then this will be all double back through to give this double thickness, so when the dogs are biting through it, they don't just get one bite and they're through it. They have to work through it. So I just run my ring down to the very end. So that's where I'm going to want to be. You got to do the same thing with this end. You just got to work this into a really tight point. That you can thread. So like I said, I like to run this ring just where I can grab it with my fingers if I'm running, and I got a little bit of a bend down here. So this is where I'm going to double back through, right in this general area. And to do that, you're doing the same thing. You're just expanding that to create a void to get this point started. And once you get it started, it's just a matter of threading it, pinching it, threading it, pinching it, and working this rope all the way to the other end. Like I said, you can make a shorter loop and not go this whole length, but then you're not getting double thickness where they're going to be biting, potentially biting. Once you get it all the way to the end, stretch that back. Like I said, you got this loop. You cannot run a ring. You can just use the loop and the loop will float. That's fine. But again, like I like a loop, I like a ring to get my baton up into. Same thing here. Tape to reinforce this end. I was at Indy Metro using these Snappy Snares for 3.5 years. Never broke one. I've been in the job roughly 20 years and have had several of the store-bought ones, except for the stainless steel models, and have always broke those. right to the end of the tubing. Again, reinforce this point so that that tubing won't want to work its way out and pop out. And I just work it over the point of that piece that we double back through is right here. So by taping through here, you're essentially combining those two, that inside point and that rubber tubing. And you can run as much tape there as you want. Then all you gotta do is take this, pass this end through, and there's your Snappy. And you can put tape through here. I'll generally put another piece of tape here, maybe put a piece of tape here where this tubing is to keep it from wanting to pop out here to reinforce. But that's how I build my Snappies. And I don't, like I said, use them in a snappy formation. I just give it a loop. And then I've got a much longer reach that I can reach out. And once they run through that loop, it grabs and it'll slide down and you've got them. So extremely tough Snappy Snare. Doesn't cost much to build them. Buy in bulk and you can build a bunch for pennies on a dollar. And these rods don't break like those other ones do. Like I said, 3.5 years at Indy Metro. Plenty of people before those using them there, and since then, since I've moved on, I've not yet heard of anybody having this type of a Snappy Snare snap in half or break. So any further questions, just give me a hit on here, or if you got me, email me or call me.